Chapter 1. The Civilian Advisor. Alex, a civilian advisor for a corporation specializing in terraforming, habitat construction, biospheres, and life support systems, found himself seated in a conference room. His team was supposed to be finalizing the development stages of their latest project. He glanced at his supervisor and the extensive list of restrictions and specifications displayed on the holographic screen. Considering the stress evident on his supervisor's face, Alex decided against voicing his concerns. For several years, Alex had contributed to more than a dozen biospheres, nature habitats, and other terraforming projects. His role as a civilian advisor was both puzzling and rewarding. The company rarely sought his input on significant aspects of a project. The last time they did was during the construction of a Class 7 biosphere primarily intended for human occupation. Since then, his contributions were limited to minor consultations, like assessing the potential risks of introducing non-sapient species. Despite the minimal demand for his expertise, Alex found his job comfortable and well-paying. Today, however, was different. The team was working on something extraordinary, a Class 10 biosphere designed to serve as a military training field. The project was exciting yet nerve-wracking for most of his colleagues. In Alex's opinion, their designs were too mild. The proposed weather variations and environmental challenges were far from what he considered adequate for survival training. The fastest wind setting was only 50 units per second, roughly equivalent to 45 miles per hour. Kite-flying weather, as Alex thought. The rain was light, occurring at precisely specified intervals, and the occasional ground quakes were so mild they would barely knock objects off tables. The artificial gravity was set to 1.33 times the galactic standard, approximately 8.1 meters per second squared, which was the lowest classification of high gravity. The temperature ranged from 10 degrees Celsius to 35–40 degrees Celsius, similar to the climate of the Pacific Northwest on Terra. Even the predators planned for the biosphere were, in Alex's view, not threatening enough. Alex couldn't hold back any longer. He addressed the lead engineer, Chris Tick. "I have a few suggestions," he began, drawing the attention of the stressed engineer. Chris Tick turned one of his compound eyes toward Alex, clearly holding back frustration. "You may speak, Alex. I suggest adding at least 2 additional predators to the ecosystem and introducing 2 more omnivorous species, with at least 1 capable of flight. As it stands, the system barely qualifies as Class 10. The wildlife soldiers would encounter on a real Deathworld would be far deadlier. The weather needs altering as well. The wind and rain are set to pose minimal danger. The winds will die out before the cold season and peak during the dry season, making the heat more tolerable. This biosphere should prepare soldiers for a true Class 10 environment, and right now, it's more like Class 8 or 9. Chris Tick's response was curt. "I do not think you qualify to dictate to me what a Class 8 environment entails, civil consultant Alex. I have designed countless biospheres and station life support systems. I will consider your suggestions, but I believe my designs are optimal for their intended purpose." Alex persisted. "I do not question your qualifications, nor your familiarity with Class 9 and below ecosystems, but I believe I am more than qualified to speak on Class 10 and above. You know the world my species came from. As the design stands, it would be easier to send the troops to one of the wildlife reserves on my home world. What you have built resembles one I frequent to an uncanny degree." Chris Tick made a gesture Alex recognized as the equivalent of giving the finger before scuttling out of the room. Chapter 2. The True Nature of Terra. After Chris Tick left, the lead biologist, Ven, began making sounds akin to nails on a chalkboard, a gesture Alex recognized as laughter. "Do not mind Chris Tick. He is still salty over the incident with the, what did you call it again? Big cat?" "Yes," Alex replied. "The creature resembled a bobcat from my home world, though with far fewer teeth. The Nirala are considered top predators on the Tsar homeworld, and one of the few things that can coax them into making that sound, normally reserved for respectful dialect. It's a big fluffy kitten at worst," Alex continued. "And look at this. 1.32 gravity. Does he even realize how low that is for Deathworlds? Most don't go below 1.35. And he expects this to be suitable for a military training facility. I pity the trainees that leave this facility." Ven was curious. "Is it true your homeworld has a valley where temperatures reach over 55 Celsius?" "Death Valley, yes. The record is actually over 60 Celsius now, and it can drop below 9 Celsius at times. No wonder your homeworld is classified as Class 12 if temperatures can swing that much each cycle. Is it true your people built cities in zones where winds exceed 170 units per second? Actually, it swings pretty much all across the globe. If you're referring to Florida, we rebuild the place probably once every 10 cycles or so. People are just too stubborn to give up on the place, even though it's been entirely flooded by rising ocean tides nearly every other decade. Ven was astounded. Unbelievable. I can see why they keep you on the board. Not many of us have experienced anything close to the conditions on your homeworld. I can hardly imagine what it's like to rebuild a city, knowing it will just flood again. But I guess that's expected from a species that evolved on a Class 12 planet. Alex shrugged. Technically, that classification is a bit off, but I appreciate my opinions being considered for as infrequent as they are needed. Ven laughed again. I hardly think your world comes close to Class 11, given what little I know of it. Even just the two qualities you've mentioned firmly place it as Class 12. I wasn't implying Class 11. Technically speaking, Terra would be Class 13 if not for human intervention and our actions in the last 100 cycles. Ven's optical stalks focused on Alex. I'm sure the Galactic Council knew what they were doing when they classified your world. I'm sure they would have even considered lowering its score if not for the cycle-set hurricanes and constant lightning storms. Honestly, they didn't believe us when we told them about Australia or the results from examining our ice cores. Terra actually goes through a 10,000 cycle global ice age, which we're supposed to be in now if not for our overuse of fossil fuels. The permafrost was supposed to set in about now and stay for another 2,000 cycles before warming up again. That, and the center of the Americas is located over a continent-sized supervolcano. Our magnetic field flips entirely every few thousand cycles, and everything about Australia is true. Ven's terror was palpable. Australia is real? Alex chuckled. Oh yes, and let me tell you more about Terra. Our oceans cover about 71% of our planet's surface and are home to some of the most terrifying creatures imaginable. We have fish that can swallow a human whole, cnidarians with tentacles stretching dozens of meters with enough venom to kill hundreds, and sharks that can smell a drop of blood from kilometers away. Ven was visibly distressed. How do your people even venture into the water? Alex laughed. We do more than venture. We have entire cities underwater, and some of our favorite pastimes involve swimming, surfing, and diving. But our land-based flora and fauna are equally fascinating. We have plants that cause excruciating pain for months with a single touch, trees that explode during forest fires to spread their seeds, and fungi that can turn insects into zombies. Our wildlife includes bears that can run faster than humans, big cats that hunt in packs, and birds of prey that can spot a mouse from a kilometer high. Ven was in awe. How did your species even survive to become sapient in such an environment? Adaptability, I suppose. We're not the strongest, fastest, or most venomous creatures on our planet, but we're incredibly resilient and resourceful. Humans are endurance predators. We can't outrun most animals in a sprint, but we can outlast almost anything in a long-distance chase. We can sweat to regulate our body temperature, allowing us to keep moving long after other creatures have collapsed from heat exhaustion. Our immune systems are robust, allowing us to live symbiotically with countless microorganisms that would be lethal to many other species. Ven's scientific curiosity overcame her fear. But surely your planet must have some areas that are less deadly. Alex laughed again. You'd think so, but even our safe areas have their challenges. Take our polar regions, for instance. Temperatures can drop to -80 Celsius, winds can reach speeds of 320 kilometers per hour, and the sun doesn't rise for months at a time. Yet we've built research stations there and conduct scientific expeditions regularly. Ven was incredulous. Your moon? You mean you've achieved extraplanetary travel on your own? Yes, we've sent probes to every planet in our solar system, landed rovers on our neighboring planet, and are currently working on plans for long-term habitation on other celestial bodies. Space, with all its radiation, lack of atmosphere, and extreme temperatures, is just another frontier for us to conquer. Ven was trembling slightly, her earlier work forgotten. I'm sorry, Alex. I didn't mean to overwhelm you with all this information. It's just when you live on a world like Terra, you develop a certain perspective on what constitutes a challenge or danger. Ven straightened herself, her color returning to normal. "Thank you for sharing, Alex. It certainly puts things into perspective. I'll make sure your suggestions for the Class 10 biosphere are taken seriously." "Thanks, Ven. I appreciate it." As Alex left the conference room, he couldn't help but smile. He had done his job for the day, and it seemed his insights would finally be put to good use. Before proceeding, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Chapter 3. The Meeting. Alex made his way to his office, still chuckling about his conversation with Ven. He appreciated her genuine curiosity and open-mindedness, qualities not always found among his colleagues. As he settled into his chair and began organizing his notes, his terminal chimed, signaling an incoming message. It was an invitation to a meeting with the project director, Dr. Elena Simmons. Dr. Simmons was a formidable figure in the company, known for her innovative designs and uncompromising standards. She rarely called for meetings with junior staff, so this invitation was unexpected. Alex quickly gathered his materials and headed to her office, a sleek space filled with holographic displays and intricate models of various biospheres. "Come in, Alex," Dr. Simmons greeted him as he entered. She was a tall woman with sharp features and an air of authority. "Please, have a seat." "Thank you, Dr. Simmons," Alex replied, taking a seat opposite her desk. "I've been reviewing the latest designs for the Class 10 biosphere," she began, her eyes fixed on a holographic representation of the project. "I see you've made some significant suggestions." "Yes, I believe the current design is not challenging enough for the intended military training," Alex said, trying to gauge her reaction. Dr. Simmons nodded. "I agree. In fact, I was hoping you could provide more detailed input. Your insights are invaluable, given your background and experience with high-class ecosystems." Alex was pleasantly surprised. "I'd be happy to help in any way I can. What specific areas would you like me to focus on?" "Primarily the flora and fauna," Dr. Simmons replied. "We need to ensure that the environment is not just survivable, but truly tests the resilience and adaptability of the trainees. I want you to work closely with the biology team to select appropriate species and design a realistic ecosystem." "Understood. I'll get started right away." As Alex left Dr. Simmons's office, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. This was his chance to make a real impact on the project, and he was determined to make the most of it. Chapter 4. The Field Test. Weeks passed as Alex immersed himself in the project, collaborating with biologists, ecologists, and engineers to create a more challenging biosphere. They incorporated his suggestions, adding more predators, increasing the wind speeds, and introducing unpredictable weather patterns. The result was a truly formidable environment that met the standards of a Class 10 biosphere. The time had come for the field test. A group of elite soldiers would be the first to train in the new biosphere, and Alex was invited to observe. The training grounds were located in a massive dome, housing a meticulously crafted environment, complete with dense forests, treacherous mountains, and vast plains. As the soldiers entered the biosphere, Alex watched from a control room, monitoring their progress through various cameras and sensors. The trainees faced immediate challenges, navigating through dense undergrowth while evading predators, crossing rivers with powerful currents, and enduring sudden storms with gale-force winds and torrential rain. Despite the harsh conditions, the soldiers adapted quickly, showcasing their skills and determination. They built shelters, set traps for food, and used teamwork to overcome obstacles. Alex was impressed by their resilience and resourcefulness, traits that reminded him of his own species' tenacity. During a break in the training, Alex joined Dr. Simmons and the lead trainers in a debriefing session. "The trainees are performing exceptionally well," one of the trainers noted. "The environment is tough, but it's exactly what they need to prepare for real combat situations." Dr. Simmons turned to Alex. "Your input has been invaluable, Alex. This biosphere is not just a training ground, but a testament to the importance of realistic and challenging environments." Alex felt a surge of pride. "I'm glad I could contribute. Seeing the trainees adapt and thrive in this environment reaffirms the need for such rigorous preparation." As the field test continued, Alex reflected on the journey that had brought him here. From a civilian advisor whose input was often overlooked to a key contributor to one of the company's most ambitious projects, he had proven the value of his unique perspective. More importantly, he had helped create a biosphere that would better prepare soldiers for the challenges they would face, ultimately saving lives. The field test concluded with a final exercise, a simulated mission that required the trainees to navigate the entire biosphere, facing all its hazards in a race against time. As the soldiers emerged victorious, their faces showing a mix of exhaustion and triumph, Alex knew that this project was a success. Dr. Simmons approached him, a rare smile on her face. "Excellent work, Alex. You've truly made a difference." "Thank you, Dr. Simmons. It's been an honor to be part of this project." As Alex left the training grounds, he looked forward to future challenges, confident that his contributions would continue to shape the company's projects and ensure their success. Chapter 5. The Unexpected Visitor. A few months had passed since the successful field test of the Class 10 biosphere. Alex had continued to work on various projects, but the memory of that achievement lingered, fueling his motivation. One day, as he was engrossed in his work, his terminal chimed with an alert. It was a message from Dr. Simmons. "Alex, could you come to my office? There's someone I'd like you to meet." Curious, Alex made his way to Dr. Simmons's office. As he entered, he noticed a tall, imposing figure standing beside her desk. The man wore a military uniform adorned with numerous medals, his expression stern yet respectful. "Alex, this is General Marcus Thorne," Dr. Simmons introduced. "General, this is Alex, the key advisor on our latest biosphere project." "Pleasure to meet you, General," Alex said, extending his hand. "Likewise, Alex," the general replied, shaking his hand firmly. "I've heard a lot about your work. Your contributions have made a significant impact on our training programs." "Thank you, sir. I'm glad to hear that." Dr. Simmons gestured for them to sit. "General Thorne has come to discuss a new initiative. He believes your expertise will be crucial." Alex's interest was piqued. "What kind of initiative?" "We're planning to develop a new type of biosphere," the general explained. "One that's not just for training, but also for research and development of advanced survival techniques and technologies. This will be a joint effort between the military and several leading scientific organizations." Dr. Simmons added, "This project will require a deep understanding of complex ecosystems and the ability to create environments that push the boundaries of current technology. We need your insights to ensure its success." Alex leaned forward, his mind racing with possibilities. "I'm intrigued. What specific challenges are we looking to address?" General Thorne smiled, his demeanor softening slightly. "We're aiming to simulate the most extreme conditions known to man, environments that can prepare our soldiers for any scenario, whether it's deep space exploration, Arctic survival, or combat in hostile alien landscapes." Alex's excitement grew. This was an opportunity to push his skills to the limit and contribute to a groundbreaking project. "Count me in. I'll do everything I can to make this a success." Chapter 6. The New Frontier. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of activity. Alex found himself at the center of a team composed of top scientists, engineers, and military strategists. Together, they began designing the new biosphere, which they dubbed the New Frontier. This biosphere would be the most advanced and challenging environment ever created. The New Frontier was divided into multiple zones, each simulating a different extreme condition. One zone replicated the harsh, icy conditions of a distant moon, complete with sub-zero temperatures, ice storms, and treacherous terrain. Another zone mimicked the dense, humid jungles of an alien planet, teeming with dangerous wildlife and unpredictable weather patterns. A third zone simulated a barren desert world, with scorching heat, sandstorms, and limited resources. Alex worked tirelessly, drawing on his extensive knowledge and previous experience to design realistic and demanding environments. He collaborated closely with biologists to select appropriate flora and fauna, ensuring each zone was a self-sustaining ecosystem that posed unique challenges. As the project progressed, Alex and his team conducted numerous tests and simulations. They fine-tuned every detail, from the behavior of the wildlife to the intensity of the weather conditions. The goal was to create a biosphere that was not just survivable, but truly tested the limits of human endurance and ingenuity. Finally, the day came for the first trial run. A group of elite soldiers, scientists, and engineers gathered at the entrance to the New Frontier. Alex stood with Dr. Simmons and General Thorne, watching as the participants prepared to enter the biosphere. "Are you ready for this, Alex?" Dr. Simmons asked, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. "Absolutely," Alex replied, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. "This is what we've been working towards." The participants entered the biosphere, and the trial began. As Alex observed from the control room, He felt a surge of pride. The environments they had created were truly formidable, pushing the participants to their limits. They had to use all their skills and knowledge to navigate the treacherous landscapes, find food and water, and survive the relentless challenges. Throughout the trial, Alex monitored the participants' progress, making notes on any issues that arose and thinking of ways to improve the biosphere. The participants' resilience and adaptability were impressive, and Alex felt a deep sense of satisfaction knowing that his work was helping to prepare them for the unknown. As the trial concluded, General Thorne turned to Alex and Dr. Simmons. "This has been a remarkable achievement. The new frontier will revolutionize our training and research programs. Your contributions have been invaluable." Dr. Simmons nodded in agreement. "Indeed. Alex, you've once again proven the importance of your unique perspective and expertise. We couldn't have done this without you." Alex smiled, feeling a profound sense of accomplishment. "Thank you. It's been an honor to be part of this project." As he left the control room, Alex looked forward to the future, knowing that there would always be new challenges and opportunities to push the boundaries of what was possible. The new frontier was just the beginning, and he was ready to face whatever came next. If you enjoy this video, then don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell.